Well, welcome again everybody to our next episode of Mann Darpan, Kahani Hamari Tumari. Yes, I am privileged to have as my guest today my elder brother Floyd Almeida. और आज का अगस्त का जो जोश है that comes in our title Adversity पे Aakraman. Why? We'll see as we unfold. But let's start with something simple. Tell us, what do you do presently and where are you?
Wow, that's a very interesting question. Presently, I'm at a very happy place in my life. I'm spending quality time with my parents, my family, my siblings. Having spent almost 24 years in the Middle East, now we've come back, we've settled in Bangalore. I'm doing what I love, which is doing my executive coaching, having a bit of my business consulting on the side, also tutoring the children in school up to grade 10 in maths and science, and living up to my core principle, which is growing people and growing performance.
Growing people, growing performance. दिल से जो भाता है वही करके खुश होना, ये बात तो कुछ और ही है. Let me also go back in time and remember that geology was your first love in college. What was that about?
Well, geology, yes, it's a long way from rocks to people. That's true. Geology was a fantastic subject. I really enjoyed it. It was about science, the earth, how things happen, origins, universe, all that. It was fantastic. I enjoyed geology. In fact, I never found it like I was studying something. There's a big difference between studying and learning, at least in my opinion. When you learn because you want to acquire knowledge. When you study, you usually study because you want to acquire marks. So there's a big difference. So I really enjoyed learning geology, and by God's grace, I even stood first in the Bombay University in my subject, which helped me then move forward, get a job in Tata's, and gave a good foundation to my career. Most of all, it gives you a certain kind of thinking, what we call the scientific method. You observe, you learn, you hypothesize, you try again. You don't consider mistakes as a failure, you consider mistakes as a stepping stone to success. So that's another perspective that you get when you study science, and I'm very fortunate to have got that.
True. Remember, learning and studying दोनों में फर्क है. दिल से करो तो और भी मजा आता है, and that's especially for all the students listening in. Your first professional job was then with Procter & Gamble as management trainee. What was that about?
Procter & Gamble was a fantastic place to begin a career, but what happened is between Procter & Gamble and geology, having got a rank holding in geology, I got to work with the Tata Group and with Maersk client just as a beginning, and there I realized that at the end of the day, most of us say you are known by the company you keep, but I realized that a company is known by the people it keeps. So the quality of the people really determine the quality of the company. And I always was interested in psychology. As you know, Mom specialized in psychology, and here you are, another psychiatrist. So somehow or the other, we've always been involved in the psychology, the mind aspect of the person. And then I made the transition. I went to the Tata Institute of Social Sciences, where I qualified. I got a merit scholarship as well. And then after I completed my post-graduation in human resources, that's when I got a job at a campus recruitment from Procter & Gamble. And Procter & Gamble in itself was a place where I learned a lot. It was my real first education in terms of the College of Hard Knocks. We've all studied such a lot. You are hired for what you know, but at the end of the day, you are promoted or kicked out for the results you deliver. That's the reality of professional life. And Procter & Gamble was a great place to learn. I owe a lot of my current professional success to the things I learned there. I learned from stalwarts in the industry like Ganesh Shirodkar, people who really were stalwarts and mentors and who trained people, not just got work out of them.
So, देखते हैं हम लोग जैसे college से geology and then moving on to with people, the HR, the psychology, going on to DIS. आपका मन और आपका दिल दोनों का सुनते हुए आगे बढ़ना कितना ज़रूरी होता है. And then came Dubai. A lucky 13 years around that place.
Yes.
And what was it like to be working in Dubai?
Actually, the interesting part is we had never planned to go to Dubai. I mean, me and my wife. One of the reasons we got married on Republic Day, 26 January, is so that we never have to apply for leave. We would always have we would always have a public holiday to spend time together.
As a family.
Yeah. So, but unfortunately or fortunately, the first Republic Day after we got married in 97, 26th Jan. But in 98, I was already in Abu Dhabi. I got a job. Interestingly, my wife got an interview with what was then known as the Amitabh Bachchan company, ABC company. So like all good husbands, I went along with her, and like they say, behind every successful man there is a woman. So when I went with her for the interview, the person who was organizing it said, you're in Procter & Gamble, Australia, New Zealand Bank. Would you be interested in going to the Middle East? I have a nice opportunity for you with a very professional company. So I really was not interested, but I thought it might affect my wife's chances for getting a job. So I gave her my CV. And as things worked out, I got the job and I went to Abu Dhabi. So guys, make sure you treat your wives well. Okay? Happy wife,
And
happy
accompany
life.
them.
Yes,
True.
And then going to Dubai was a totally different thing because first of all the experience is different. You're working with people of different nationalities.
Yes.
You have to learn quickly. You have to adapt because what may seem good in your culture may not necessarily be accepted in another culture. Also, being in Dubai, it was more conservative than what we are used to in India. The way you work with others, the way you work with women, the kind of other cultural aspects that are there which you need to respect within all that. So Dubai was another place where you had to adapt. But having said that, it was a place of great opportunity. And if you were willing to put in the effort, and like I said earlier, if you deliver results, of course within an ethical framework, people are willing to recognize you and then take you forward. And in those 13 years, I started off, of course, with as a HR manager out there. Then I grew till my last position in Dubai was with Red Bull, where I was the HR director for Asia Pacific, Middle East, and Africa. So it was growth. I also worked for some fantastic companies there. One of them was Al Futtaim, where I was there for 6 years. I mean, most of my stints in Dubai have not been less than 6 years. So it was fantastic working there, learning there, not to say the earning as well. But remember, always put family life first, learning second, and then earning.
The work-life balance, that is important, and you seem to have kept that going well for you. Hard work, efforts, ethical practices, all leading to success, and we realize that success is so multi-dimensional. And then from there, you moved on to Kuwait. And Kuwait was another good 11 years.
Yeah. Interesting comment which you made on success. What I've realized is that at different points in your life, success means different things to you. So when I just graduated, success for me meant getting a fantastic job when I just completed my post-graduation. After that, when I got married, success for me was keeping my wife happy. When my son was born, success was making sure I had time with the family, spending time with him. Of course, in the background you have your job, you deliver results, but things change. And as I grew, then my son became a teenager. Then it's different. Handling a teenager is different from handling a kid. Okay, you learn at the same time. So that was different. So all these things, as changes happen in your life, you have to, success for you means different things. Then for me, success was making sure my son gets into a great college, right? And by God's grace, he's done that. Then success for you means when your parents are ill, you are there to take care of them. You are there to be there for them. So success keeps changing its framework based on the life situation you are in or the life progression you have achieved. So
success keeps changing. The relevance of your success, the meaning of your success, wife, son, daughter, family, parents, all of that, and that contributes to your work-life balance.
Having mentioned Kuwait, I mean, that was another thing. At that point in my career, for me, what was success? Now, I had learned a lot. I wanted to apply it in a place where they really didn't have much of HR. So the companies which I joined were where I joined as the general manager, the other one was a director, where I could use what I had learned. So I was the boss of my department. I reported straight to the CEO. And that's why at that point in life, your success means you are able to successfully apply what you have learned within a different context.
And you're seeing growth in that company where you've started. So you start from scratch, you apply what you've learned, and you see it blossom and feel happy about what you've contributed for the company. Then came the COVID. But before that, in your pursuit of excellence, there is so much more that you added on, the feathers in your cap. So can you mention the other professional trainings that you added on?
Yes, in fact, that goes back to what I said earlier. There's a difference between learning and studying. If you study, at least in my framework of the way I look at things, you study to get a mark, to get a percentage. And many of us lose out after we finish college. We say, okay, now nobody is going to look at my marks, nobody is going to ask me for my percentage, I've done it, and we stop studying. We stop learning. And once you stop learning, you stop growing. And for me, that was different. That's not that was not my approach. For me, my approach was, I really enjoyed learning about people. What is it that makes people grow? What is it that motivates people to perform well? What is it that motivates people to be their best and to strive for their best? So in that context, of course, my company also supported me in my learning. So I went to Harvard and I did courses on leadership, on strategy, on people strategies and organizations. I went to London Business School and learned a lot. Massachusetts Institute of Technology, Cornell, Stanford, all these great places of learning. Not
so
study.
great exposure, great learnings, great experiences, and the worldwide view that you got along with it. And then ये सब अच्छा जो चल रहा था, उसके बीच में आ गया कोविड और कोविड का साया. But what happens when adversity comes through? एक मुक्का मारना जरूरी है. That is what we said. Adversity को आक्रमण जो करना जरूरी है. How did you deal with that COVID?
When COVID came, no one expected it, right? So COVID came upon us, totally uninvited guest, stayed longer than we wanted it to. But at the end of the day, COVID did also wreak a lot of havoc in people's lives. Professionally, businesses were not doing well, given the fact that we definitely had to take medical restrictions. People couldn't come in. So obviously purchases went down. The business I was in was, I was heading a group of malls as the HR head. So malls were closed down, shops were closed down. So businesses were not doing well, in short. So obviously, the owners and business leaders had to make certain decisions, which had to lay off people because they couldn't afford to pay them, and various other things happened. So at that point in time, having spent almost 24 years in my life, like I said earlier, success changes at different points in your life, the meaning of success. So once that also started affecting our general business, me and my wife sat down and said, for us, what does it mean, COVID now? At that point in time, we knew Dad was not well. So we said, okay, I think now we have been here for 24 years. Our definition of success has changed. My son was almost completing his college. So we were financially comfortable, having been there for a long time. And we said, now what is it? So we said, now I think for us, success means being with the family when the family needs us. Going back, and we had decided on Bangalore because of the various options that we had there. And then we said, okay, for us now success means doing our own thing. My wife is a French teacher, so she enjoys teaching. She has found her niche, so she's happy. I said, yes, now it's time probably for us to give back to society. Teach, we also do a bit of charity work in teaching children. So executive coaching, like I said at the beginning, I'm in a very happy place right now. So COVID made us realize that we need to count our blessings. And money is not the only measure of success. Okay, there are multiple measures of success, and each measure has a different level of importance at different points in your life. For me, now my measure of success is, can I spend quality time with my family, with my siblings, with my children? Can I help other students do well in school, build their capabilities and their confidence? Can I help through my executive coaching other leaders to do well in their organizations by having a heart for the people, not just for having an eye on the profits? So two different things. So that is what happened. So when COVID came, it was a real time for reflection for me to say really what matters now.
And you did a lot of good work by spreading the message of good hope and the knowledge that you had. You were very often our guests on Mann Darpan as well. So you used Mann Darpan also as a platform to let your knowledge reach others, and many other international platforms that you use to be part of webinars, etc. And then it was Bangalore with a bang. So a new phase of life, as you mentioned, and you're enjoying it.
Totally. Not only for the weather and the good things you get all around Bangalore. And one of the reasons we selected Bangalore is because there comes a time when your children become more important than you. I'm sure all of us can relate to that. So the reason why we chose Bangalore is the kind of schools and colleges available depending on whichever line of specialization my daughter or son take. Whether it's management, you have IIM Bangalore. If you need to do medicine, there are other great places. If my daughter is interested in law, currently at this point in time, so Bangalore has the best law college in India. All those things. Besides the fact that my wife is from Chennai, so it's a 45-minute flight. My parents are in Mumbai, it's a 1.5-hour flight. It's a different story that from the airport to home takes longer. But
True.
The thing is, it's so well connected, and I can meet all my priorities. Being with the family. Right now I'm here with Fabian and my mom and dad, etc. I can be here. I can be doing my own thing. It's fantastic. So I like that phrase, Bangalore with a bang. Yeah.
Bangalore with a bang. और मुश्किल घड़ी जब चुनौती आता है जिंदगी में, तब सोच समझ के कुछ चीज़ें छोड़ना पड़ता है, कुछ चीज़ें स्वीकारना पड़ता है, और एक नया मोड़ के साथ गुजरने के लिए भी तैयारी हो जाना चाहिए. Change in times of adversity needs strength, needs hope, needs courage, and an openness of mind, which is important. And that's what I beautifully see in how Floyd weaved his way forward, and was willing to leave everything abroad for a better decision at a better phase of life when there were choices and chances that mattered. And that is how we deal when adversity comes through. And we can still bloom with adversity, as we said, Bangalore with a bang. Well, summing up briefly the important life lessons that you've learned from this journey, this wonderful journey that you've moved so many places, you've learned so much, you've added so many feathers to your hat. What would you say is the crux of this all? Life lessons.
I think it starts with the person. It starts with the mindset. Do you believe that you are powerless against your circumstances, or do you believe you have the power to influence your circumstances? So you want to have a victim mindset and blame everybody and everything around you for the situation you are in, or do you take personal responsibility and say, okay, this is the situation, these are the facts, what is it that I can do to make a difference to my own life and to the people who depend on me and the people I care about. So I think first it starts with mindset. The second I would say is, life is unpredictable, but you are responsible. I'm not saying responsible, I'm saying responsible. You are able to choose your response to the challenges you face. There are some people who, unfortunately, when COVID came and they heard about it and they went into panic mode, unfortunately some people committed suicide. Unfortunately. There are other people who said, okay, here's an opportunity for me to reflect back on what I've been doing so far and decide, is there a new way I need to live my life? Is there something more important than me? There are many people who also decided that, okay, I'm going to start my own business with my skills.
Steady.
Exactly.
Fresh.
And spend more time with my family and with other things that matter more than just a 9-to-5 job. What I like this phrase which I heard, which says, most of us know how to make a living, but few of us know how to live a life.
Very true.
And that makes a big difference. And the third thing I would say after that is, after we've talked about your mindset, being responsible, and then life is a marathon. Okay, and today they say life expectancy is around 75 to 80 years old. So you've got a long way to go. Don't measure your life by small bumps along the way. At the same time, don't measure your life by the successes along the way, because life is a marathon. And in a marathon, what you need is stamina to last. Right? And I use that acronym LAST in my way that I have gone through. L is for learn. Okay? A is for after you learn, you adapt. Okay? Whether you have to learn more, learn a new skill, once you know what's happening, adapt. S is for survive. You start with small improvements, small changes. And T is thrive. Then you thrive. So you learn, adapt, survive, thrive. And that way you will last through life and also have lasting happiness and success.
Beautifully said. And एक शब्द में डालते हुए LAST, last through, and that is learning, that is adapting, surviving and then thriving. बहुत ही बढ़िया. और ये मिजाज को मन में रखते हुए हम जिंदगी के उतार चढ़ाव को टक्कर जरूर दे सकते हैं. And finally, because we are in Mumbai and Mumbai is so close to our heart, let's end with a few lines to music from that old retro song that is there, Mumbai Meri Jaan. Floyd has good voice, so let's have the 4 lines there.
Well, now I cannot disappoint my brother. I have to do it. So please hold on to your chairs and if necessary onto your ears. Okay. ए दिल है मुश्किल जीना यहाँ जरा हंस के जरा बच के ये है बम्बई मेरी जान ए दिल है मुश्किल जीना यहाँ जरा हंस के जरा बच के ये है बम्बई मेरी जान ये है बम्बई मेरी जान
जरा हटके जरा बच के जिंदगी मुश्किल है लेकिन इसको जीना हम सब के लिए एक चुनौती होता है and with great insights, great inputs, with support and with help, we can make the most of where we are and have a wonderful life. Adversity pe Aakraman, right? So remember, you can manage your life. Wonderful things that we've learned as we've covered the journey that Floyd has gone through from then till now and the learnings that we have got thereof. Remember, tune in to our episodes of Mann Darpan as we bring them to you episode after episode to help you have a healthy, happy life. Take care and all the best.
Goodbye.